Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome back or welcome to this channel. I'm Megan, certified nutrition coach, also known as the Healing Foods Coach. And I'm so glad you guys have taken time to come back and check out my video today. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. And thank you, as always, to those of you who have been with me, supporting me all along. So glad to have you here today. So today is just a quick topic for discussion. Fat is our friend. So if you are new to this space and you've just decided you want to find out what it means to follow a carnivore or keto type of diet, you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, you may be looking to lose weight, perhaps you have other health issues, autoimmune conditions, fibromyalgia, thyroid problems, maybe you're suffering with fatty liver disease, type 2 diabetes, chronic kidney disease, IBS. Maybe you struggle with mental health concerns like anxiety or depression. Maybe you're also coming to a point where you want to take over and conquer an eating disorder or a food addiction. Well, all of those things can definitely be helped by following a carnivore or keto diet. Absolutely. How can I say that with such confidence? Because I've overcome them all myself through carnivore. Now, I'm going to speak more so to just carnivore, simply because that's what I follow. But keto or even low carb has helped lots of people not only to lose weight, but also to improve their overall health markers. And so if that's where you're at, if you are somebody who tolerates some low carb fruits and vegetables and can enjoy them on occasion and is feeling great and you're thriving, fantastic, stick with it. Absolutely. But if you're someone like me where you had so many gut issues, food sensitivities, and other problems that you simply have to cut out all the plants, at least for now, then carnivore is probably the best thing to do. And it does work, and it can help you. One of the things I had to overcome when I first decided to make this change was my fear of fat. Somebody who spent a lifetime yo-yo dieting, struggling with bulimia, binging and purging and restricting and everything in between, was, in spite of the fact that none of those things ever worked, none of the counting calories or the smoothies or the shakes helped me, none of the pills or the powders or the potions or the bars helped me, because I didn't learn how to address nutrition. It was all about reducing your caloric intake. And what I didn't know then, but I know now, is that one of the key things that I was cutting out of my diet that our body needs is plenty of healthy saturated fats. Now, let me clarify. Trans fats, which are the fats that are hydrogenated in a factory that you find in things like chips and snack foods in bags and some sweets, chocolate bars, things like that, probably have some degree of trans fats. Those are definitely bad for you, okay? But saturated fats, which were vilified for decades, are not the enemy. They're not. Saturated fats are critical. Why? And of course, you can also have polyunsaturated fats or monounsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats can be healthy too, things like avocado if you tolerate it, pure olive oil, again, if you can tolerate it. Things such as fish, full of unsaturated fats, very, very good for you, okay? But the saturated fats were always given a bad name, and for no good reason, right? Now, it is well known now, it is an established fact that the Harvard study that was done way back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, to show how fat was bad for us and sugar was okay. Well, the professors who ran the study took a kickback from the big sugar company in the US. These were Harvard professors who accepted bribes to lie and say that, in fact, the problem as to why people were gaining weight, were getting more obese, and developing more cases of diabetes was a result of saturated fat, not the fact that they were eating higher amounts of sugar, and or they also had ongoing issues, such as they were smokers, they were eating a lot of processed carbohydrates and junk. So none of those factors were accounted for. We now know that a study that said that saturated fat was bad for us was completely wrong. There has been absolutely no study to ever show that there is a cause between saturated fats and heart disease, diabetes, or cancer. There may be some correlations because of other risk factors in our life, but there is no study ever to have proven that saturated fat causes any of those issues. I will say it again because I had a hard time wrapping my head around that. But the reality is, saturated fats are extremely healthy for us. Saturated fats provide so much positive things in life. One, when we have saturated fats, it keeps us feeling satiated. We have satiety, okay? It helps get our gallbladders working and functioning properly. We get more bile produced when we have more fat. Doesn't mean you have to sit and eat a block of fat, but saturated fats, butters, cheese, eggs, for example, red meats, some, fattier cuts of poultry, pork. These are all good things for us. They all provide us with nutrition. Fat, by the way, has almost zero impact on our blood glucose, which means we can eat it and it doesn't cause our blood glucose to spike, unlike, say, carbohydrates and too much protein. Minimal amounts of protein, we're okay. If we eat far too much protein, we can have a spike in our blood glucose levels. Again, nothing near enough to what carbs do, but fat has virtually no impact. And so why is that important? Because the lower we keep our blood glucose levels, the lower our insulin is, and therefore the body is able to access our fat and use it and burn it for fuel. So that's an important thing. But we also need fat. Why? Because saturated fat is an excellent source of that for the body in its ability to produce cholesterol. And it also provides cholesterol, of course, which we need. It helps us produce more internal cholesterol. So there's a cholesterol we can eat, but then there's a cholesterol that our body makes as well. And why is cholesterol important? Because we need cholesterol. It is used as one of the main building blocks for the hormones that regulate our body, whether it's our thyroid hormone, which then affect all of our sex hormones and other cascading hormones as well. Hormones such as cortisol, insulin, ghrelin, leptin, as well as estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. All of those things are affected. All of those things control all the different functions of our body, all of which is we need cholesterol for in order to make those hormones, which can then affect the right parts of the body. And without cholesterol, we don't produce enough hormones to have our body running smoothly. So for example, as a woman who's just gone through menopause, if I want to make sure that my thyroid's functioning properly, my ability to digest and metabolize food happens smoothly, that although my estrogen and progesterone levels will have dropped, that I still have enough. They're not going to be what they were before, but I still have enough in my body that my cortisol levels are not skyrocketing and that my insulin levels are kept at a good level. That requires cholesterol to feed all of those things. And if we're not getting enough saturated fat, for example, from animal sources to provide cholesterol so we can also make more internally, guess what? We don't get enough cholesterol, we don't get enough of the right hormones, and our systems start to break down and don't work as well as they are meant to. Can we get some cholesterol or sterols from plants? Yes, but is it easiest for the body to digest and make use of the ones that come from animal sources? It is. They're more bioavailable and more easy for our bodies to digest and make use of. And so really, that's why it's so important that we do keep saturated fats in our diet. You know what? The thing is, my hormone levels, for example, my thyroid levels were underproducing. I didn't have enough thyroid hormone in my system 5 years ago. I was suffering with hypothyroidism. My thyroid was underperforming, and my levels of the thyroid hormone I needed was below average, was below normal. It was an abnormal amount, okay? And that was when I was eating all the processed carbs and all the sugary stuff, but I was also eating very little protein, very little saturated fat. Everything was diet, was fat-free or low fat, and my hormones were in a tank completely. When I went carnivore, within 4 months, my thyroid started to function properly. My hormone levels actually came back up to what they should have been. My cycles were regular again. I wasn't having as bad dry skin. My eyebrows stopped the hairs of my eyebrows stopped falling out. My eyelashes stopped falling out. Things like your skin, your teeth, your hair, and your nails. The thyroid hormones are key for making sure that those things function properly. They send off. So the thyroid produces the hormones that then stimulate the glands and the functions in the body that control those other things. But if your thyroid's not working properly, or you're not producing enough of the hormone to stimulate the rest of the hormones in the body, you have breakdown. And that's what was happening to me. It helped speed up my weight loss because finally not only was I digesting things better, but my metabolism was actually picking up, getting back to what it should have been versus what it had become when my thyroid was underperforming. And that's just a quick tip. And so, but I lived in fear for decades that if I ate fat, I would get fat. It's wrong. It's not true. It's not the fat that makes us fat. It isn't. Okay. It is the carbs that we eat along with the fat that can make us fat, not the fat itself. I heard someone say once, don't blame the butter for what the bread did. Or similarly, don't blame the burger patty for what the bun did. And it's true. If you think about it in nature, animals in the wild, those that are designed to eat other animals, those that are apex predators, they don't eat carbs with their meat. They just eat the meat and the fat of whatever they've killed, right? And humans function in the same way. When we mix carbohydrates in with fat and protein, the body then has a difficult time breaking it all down. So it's the carbohydrates we're eating along with the fats and the protein that convert into body fat stored on our body. When we cut out the carbohydrates or reduce them, our body gets a chance to actually get all it needs from the fats and the protein. So again, we can't blame the burger patty for the bun, the fries, and the milkshake that goes with it, right? We can't blame that little bit of butter for making us fat with the huge helping of French toast and syrup that went along with it. So it's not the fat that makes us fat. Fat, saturated fat in particular, is our friend. It is our best friend if we let it be. And I just wanted to share that because I had to remind myself from time to time that fat is good. Do you know what? I've had no issues with my thyroid now for 4.5 years, ever since I've been carnivore, and I've gotten the carbs out. Now, again, for me, I had to remove all carbs, so all plant materials, because of my IBS, because of my food sensitivities. There are people who are going keto or even low carb, who have kept some of the low carb fruits and vegetables in, and they're thriving. And I'm a little jealous from time to time because I do miss berries in the summer. And I do miss being able to have a bit of Greek yogurt with, a few berries in there. I do, being completely honest. But I know I can't have it. I have lactose intolerance. I have IBS issues with plant material, so I avoid it. But to say I'm not jealous would not be true. But the saturated fats, that's what we need. Even if you think about dairy products, if you can have yogurt, and I'm again a bit jealous, if you can have yogurt, go with full fat yogurt. If you can tolerate dairy, have whole milk or cream with your coffee or your tea. Do with a full fat. I can do butter, and I have no issues with butter because it's all the fat. There's virtually no lactose at all by the time it's turned into butter, which is why it doesn't bother me. Okay. What I didn't realize is, especially with dairy, when you eat low fat or fat free, when you skim off all of the fat from fresh milk, right, and take the fat away, and all you're left with is the skimmed milk or the fat-free milk, essentially all you're left with are the naturally occurring carbohydrates that do exist in all dairy products, and the naturally occurring milk sugars. So all you're getting is sugar and carbs in your dairy product, and there's no fat. So your glucose is going to spike, and that's why go with a full fat. Okay, it's a bit more satiating. It's a bit better for you. It kind of counteracts some of the carbs and the naturally occurring sugars that are in there. But my point being is, fat is our friend. It honestly is. It's, if you're at a place right now where you don't quite believe that, or you've had a similar experience to me, where you've yo-yo dieted, perhaps you've even come through with an eating disorder or a food addiction, and it's really hard for you to get through the part of accepting that fat is good. It really is good, and it really is key for our health. That's okay. It might take you a little time to get there. I get that. I was terrified until I had my first bacon and eggs for breakfast, and then I started to work through those emotions. But let me just say, as a certified nutrition coach, I'm happy to work with you one-to-one if you would like, help you through those things. As I said, I've experienced it myself. I know it's helped me, and I could definitely offer you some advice, some tips if you're interested. If you would like any sort of coaching or feedback, feel free to reach out and email me at thehealingfoodscoach@gmail.com, or leave a comment in the video below. Would love to hear from you guys as always, and again, offer coaching if you're interested. Just to let you guys know, for the next month, I'm offering initial free coaching consultations for anyone who's interested. Again, reach out, either comments below or email me, thehealingfoodscoach@gmail.com. Let me know if you're interested. The first consultation is free. No strings attached, truly. I'm available evenings and weekends at the moment just because I work full time, but get in touch if you're interested. Would love to work with you and help you if I can. And if you decide then that that's it, it's not for you, that's absolutely fine. No holds barred. I just want to share what I've learned with you guys, with as many people as I can, because that's my passion. That's what's on my heart. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. Just getting ready to go to work now. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Love you so much. I will see you guys soon with more content. See you in the next video. Bye for now.